Hello and welcome to your English news broadcast live on ERi-TV. It's exactly 10:30 p.m. on Eritrea's local time. From our headquarters at Asmara with your domestic and international news in brief, I'm Zahra Badouri. But first we'll begin with your major headlines for this broadcast. Meeting on teaching and learning process. Commendable tree planting campaign. President Suga meets France's Macron as prior firm security cooperation. Great Barrier Reef, Australia avoids UNESCO downgrade. Welcome to your domestic in brief. The Ministry of Educational branch in the Southern region conducted assessment meeting on the strengths and weaknesses witnessed during the 2019 and 2020 academic year. At the meeting, in which school heads of subzones assessments was conducted on the challenges of COVID-19 pandemic caused on the teaching and learning process, as well as action taken to tackle the challenges, and it was assessed that students' enrollment and outcome was commendable. According to reports, Mr. Habtazgi Kirane, head of the branch of passing level in elementary school, was 87%. At the junior schools, it was 74.7% and 65.3% in high school. Stating that female students' enrollment in all levels was commendable, Mr. Habtazgi called on teachers to enhance contribution in tackling students' dropout in high schools. The head of education in subzone, on their part, presented activity reports. Mr. Kalab Tesfasilasi, Director General of Social Services in the Southern region, on his part called on teachers to play their part in the reinforcement of the teaching and learning process in the Southern region. There are 179 preschools, 265 elementary, 96 junior, and 29 high schools in the Southern region. Over 200,000 tree seedlings are being prepared to be planted in Ad-Daqayh subzone through the students' summer greening campaign. According to plants development expert in Ad-Daqayh subzone, Mr. Girma Abraha, Jarnary Nurse has prepared 10 types of tree seedlings, and that 128,000 of the seedlings will be planted by residents in the 12 administrative areas and the rest by students, indicating that 97% of the tree seedlings planted in Ad-Daqayh subzone has stricken root thanks to the proper follow-up and undertaken by residents. Mr. Girmay stated that regarding the students' summertime greening program and campaign, Mr. Girmay said that 420 students are participating in the greening campaign in Gargara, Abun Argawi, and Midriguda areas, and have already dug about 5,000 seedlings and constructed over 8,000 terraces. On your final domestic, over 134,000 nafa contributed by affluent individuals in Addi Guadad administrative area, Gala Nafhi subzone, has been distributed to disadvantaged nationals in the area. The support was extended to disadvantaged families in the administrative area identified by the administration and village committees. Beneficiaries, however, commended the government and people of Eritrea for their sustainable support. Up next with your global report, do stay with us for more. And on your international news, Prime Minister Yoshihide Suga and French President Emmanuel Macron agreed Saturday to strengthen bilateral security cooperation as part of effort to realize a free and open Indo-Pacific. In a joint statement released after their meeting in Tokyo, Suga and Macron welcomed the opening of the Summer Games in the Japanese capital, calling the Tokyo Olympics and Paralympics a symbol of world unity in defeating the COVID-19 pandemic. The leaders also underscored the need to take effective and swift action in ensuring equitable vaccine access globally while viewing to continue cooperation in the fight against climate change. French President hailed the two countries' exceptional relationship after meeting Suga. Macron and Suga wore masks and exchanged a double fist bump in lieu of a handshake. The meeting came a day after Macron attended the opening ceremony of the Olympics, which France will host in the summer of 2024. Macron was the only head of state from the group of 7 industrialized nations, including Britain, Canada, Germany, Italy, and the United States, plus the European Union, to travel to Japan for the event. Besides issues related to the Olympics, Suga and Macron affirmed close bilateral and multilateral defenses cooperation in the Indo-Pacific region to phase the Chinese assertive trilateral claims and military buildup in the region. France shares a common interest with Japan, the United States, and other democracies in ensuring regional peace and stability, as Paris has a number of islands and territories in the Indian and Pacific Ocean. France has become increasingly its involvement in multinational military drills with Japan and other democracies in the East Chinese Sea and other parts of the Indo-Pacific. Saturday's meeting came after the leaders met on the sidelines of Group of 7 summit in June in Britain, at which Macron promised to attend the Olympics opening in Tokyo despite the COVID-19 pandemic. On your final report, Australia on Friday avoided having the Great Barrier Reef listed as an endangered World Heritage Site by UNESCO, despite extensive climate change spurred damage of the ecosystem's corals. The move by the UN body has faced criticism by environmental activists after a concerned lobbying effort by Canberra. Members of the World Heritage Committee, including leading fossil fuel producers, Russia and Saudi Arabia, voted in Fuzhou, China, to give Australia conservation efforts more time. The group brushed aside UNESCO's expert recommendations that the reef's World Heritage status be downgraded because of dramatic coral decline, instead of telling Australia to report on the reef status by 2022. The 2,300 kilometers long ecosystem has served 3 mass coral bleaching events since 2016, caused by rising ocean temperatures due to global warming. Areas once teeming with vibrant corals have become lifeless, washed out, and waterlands, and 2/3 of the reef is believed to have been damaged in some way. Despite the damage, the reef, however, remains a vital tourist draw for Australia, which had feared an endangered label could bitter post-pandemic visitors. Australian Environment Minister Susan Ley had flown to Paris earlier this month to personally lobby member states on the committee, while key ambassadors were invited on the reef snorkeling trip. On Friday, Ley welcomed the decision, thanking estimated delegates for recognizing Australia's commitment to protect the Great Barrier Reef. Dear viewers, that is all for now with your domestic and international news in brief. But before we end, these are the review of your major headlines. Meeting on teaching and learning process as your primary domestic. Commendable tree planting campaign and finance support to disadvantaged nationals, and on your international. President Suga meets with France's Macron as pair affirm security cooperation. The Great Barrier Reef, Australia avoids UNESCO downgrade. That is all for now. Until we are back with some more news, stay and enjoy the rest of our programs. But until then, have a nice one.